Hey guys, Matt Larosiere here with Firearms Policy Coalition, and I'm here to chat with y'all about ATF's new mess of a proposed rule on pistol braces. We spent a lot of time preparing for this, but what the ATF just put out is way more bonkers than what we were expecting. I'm serious. This is one of the most lunatic, aggressive, and misleading exercises of administrative overreach I've seen in years, and that's saying something. Instead of clarifying what exists in the law, the government here is trying to completely rewrite it, going so far as to amend the definition of rifle by essentially patching, and also guns with a brace sometimes, to the end of the definition. What's interesting here is that the agency admits that there are totally legitimate legal uses for pistol braces. They recognize that these accessories were originally designed and intended to help disabled or frail shooters fire handguns one-handed. Remember also that their definition of a pistol is a gun designed and intended to be fired with one hand. So with lunacy stacked upon lunacy, we wind up with these lunatic situations. It's obvious here that if we're going to have large handguns, a way of stabilizing them is totally legit. And the ATF is a very thin rope to walk if they're trying to showcase any degree of legitimacy here. Of course, they're walking that tightrope like you'd expect a tremendously overweight and unaccountable federal agency to walk one, with the grace of a 3-year-old. As you heard my colleague Anthony Miranda tell you the other day, the way ATF wants to decide whether you got a big pistol or a big felony is by giving agents a cute little worksheet. So let's take a closer look at these factors. Before we can even get into it, ATF sets up some minimum weight and length prerequisites. If your gun doesn't meet this and it has a brace attached, it's automatically an SBR. First of all, the gun must weigh at least 64 ounces, but less than 120. Unloaded and with all non-operational accessories removed. How'd they get to this number? Well, they made it up out of nowhere, of course, obviously. The discussion section that explains this literally arrives at 64 ounces because Glock 17s weigh 39 ounces, and those are, I quote, easy to hold one-handed, and that AR pistols are 80 ounces, and those are, I guess, hard? Either way, they just arrive at 4 pounds as the felony cutoff number for no good reason. As for non-operational accessories, what are those? Well, they don't really say. So I guess whatever helps the investigating agent to justify shooting the most dogs. So then what's a 64-ounce pistol look like? Well, like this. Yeah, one gun I could find just over 64 ounces is the freaking Desert Eagle in 50AE, again, just over 4 pounds unloaded. Lucky for us, the Desert Eagle is heavy enough so that we might maybe be able to put a brace on it, perhaps a little bit sometimes. But according to the ATF, any gun that's a couple ounces lighter than a Desert Eagle is obviously so light that you can easily one-hand it all day, even if you're, frail or disabled in some way. I don't know about you, but I've shot these one-handed, and it's kind of miserable. I mean, this would certainly benefit from a brace. That's not all, though. It must also be at least 12, but no more than 26 inches long with all those accessories removed. Why 12 inches? Well, according to ATF, it's because some random large frame pistols that they picked out were 14 to 22 inches long, so 12 inches became the magical felony number, again with a completely unclear reference to accessory removal. So what about our friend the Desert Eagle? Well, I mean, it's heavy enough for the ATF to think it could use a brace, but it's only 10.6 inches long. So even though it's heavy enough, since it's so short, even shooters with strength disabilities could obviously one-hand this bad boy all day. Again, if your gun is under 4 pounds, less than 12 inches, or over 26 inches, with random accessories removed or not, and it has a brace, the ATF thinks you're an instant felon. That doesn't sound like what the law intended or what the Constitution commands to me. So now let's say we've got this Goldilocks guns. It's not too light, it's not too short, and it's not too long. We get to move forward into sections 2 and 3. Yes, there are still 2 more sections. Section 2 of the worksheet is all about the design of the brace and includes such objective and not totally made up criteria such as whether the brace incorporates shoulder stock design features. It also has a nice bit where it invites the investigating agent to make arbitrary decisions about the rear surface of the brace and randomly penalizes braces for being adjustable because there's no chance people might have different length forearms, right? It's possible to score up to 3 points in each of the subsections of Section 2. 4 points or more total means it's a felony machine. and there's a possible total of 10 points here alone. Does that sound like a stacked deck to you? The next section, section 3, is about the configuration of the weapon, starting with length of pull, which is a preposterous thing to apply to a pistol, and which will instantly DQ your gun if it's over 13.5 inches. It also, again, randomly penalizes the gun based on completely irrelevant factors, such as whether the brace can fold and how it's attached. It also penalizes the gun based on the sights, or lack thereof. Yes, you can gain SBR points both by having sights and by not having sights. In this section, accumulating more than 4 points makes a weapon an SBR. The total possible here seems like about 36. Yeah, 36. Unless you think to yourself, well, at least they gave us some factors and guidelines, right? That's better than usual. Check out the first page of the worksheet. Again, I quote, ATF reserves the right to preclude classification as a pistol for any firearm that achieves an apparently qualifying score, but is an attempt to circumvent the NFA. They literally say, right at the top, they'll still call a gun that passes this test an SBR if they feel like it was configured that way to mess with them. We can see just how arbitrary and ludicrous this is in their examples, where they take 3 AR pistols, which are really quite similar, and call 2 of them SBRs and 1 a pistol. The simple fact is that there are millions of guns out there with pistol braces. They are most certainly in common lawful use all over the country and most certainly protected by the Second Amendment. This is a preposterous nightmare, and we've got to stop it. For the latest information on this tyrannical, nonsensical, blatant attempt at ripping away your right to keep and bear arms, be sure to check out SaveTheBraces.com, where we'll be putting up everything you need to help us win the fight on this. And while you're feeling fighty, also stop by stopatf.org to submit a comment on ATF's proposed rule on frames or receivers, and visit fightchipman.com to help prevent the appointment of an ATF director that would surely bring us more of these unconstitutional, authoritarian nightmares.
If you like our videos, follow, subscribe, like, and share.